Cards are the heart of Church Connect. They are the main way to add content to your church's website and app. In this video, I'll show you the basics of this feature and give you some pointers for how to get the most out of it. Now, there's a few things before we actually get into the meat and potatoes of what I'm going to show you today. There's some preliminary things that I need to help you understand and some tools that are available to you in this page that will help you maintain and manage your Church Connect as you customize and build things. So at the very top of the screen, there's a message that says that these are the cards on the main page. That's important because you can actually add cards to other pages in Church Connect. So initially, you're going to see what's on the main page of Church Connect, but I'll show you how that'll change as we add content here in just a moment. Also, to the right, there are a few tabs that you can click through. The first allows you to see all the cards that you've created in Church Connect. The next allows you to see only the cards that are only on the website, the Church Connect website for your church. And the app allows you to see only the cards that are only displayed in the Church Connect app on people's phones. You actually can customize and choose what people see depending on which platform they're using to access Church Connect. So it allows you to customize and tailor people's experience. And then to the right of that, you can view and preview what Church Connect looks like on a smartphone, on a tablet, and a laptop or desktop. That way you understand exactly how things look as you build your Church Connect. Okay, now that we got those preliminary things out of the way, there's one more thing to cover. And that is the fact that in your Church Connect, when you first get started, you'll see all of these default cards added to Church Connect. The first thing that you need to do with these cards is delete them. I know that may seem a little confusing because why are they there if we don't want you to use them? The reason we have them there is that, just to give you an example, essentially, these are just for display so that you can see what Church Connect will look like as what the end result will look like, but we don't want you to use them because these are extremely generic. You need to delete these and build your own so that your Church Connect will be fully customized and it'll fit your church better. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these cards and I'll be back with you in just a moment. Okay, so now I've deleted all of the cards from this new account that I've created for this video. Now we need to begin adding our own cards to make and customize this church's Church Connect. To get started, we'll select the Add a Card button near the top of this page. This opens up the Add a New Card menu where I can select what type of card I want to add to this Church Connect page. There are 12 different options. Just hover your mouse over each one to get a little blurb about what that card type is for. We also have an article in our user guide that goes into much greater detail on each of these if you want to do a deeper dive. What I'm going to do for this video is I'm going to create 3 different card types. That way you see what the workflow and what the process is for creating a card in Church Connect. By the time we're done with these 3 cards, you'll know what the process is for any card. So if you want to follow along just to get those repetitions, honestly, I highly recommend it. You can pause this video as you follow along with these steps. First, I'm going to add a page card. And I'm going to add an About Us page because most churches and ministries need an About Us page so that visitors and newcomers can get an idea of what the church is all about. So I'll add a page card. And one thing that's really critical as you're adding cards, especially page cards and form cards, is you need to name the card. This will help you customize and maintain your cards in the future if you ever need to go back and make a change. So what I'll do is I'm going to just name this About Us, just to make it really obvious what this card is for. Then I'll select the Add This Card button at the bottom of this menu. Now there are several different things here that I can customize and tools built into this card customization process. I'm going to go through each one, but the very first thing I recommend you do is that you edit the card design. So I'll select that button. On the following screen, I have the ability to use text to edit and add like a header to the card, a title, card content, footer. Honestly, even though these are all available to you, I recommend you don't use any of them. I recommend, if you want to like take your Church Connect cards to the next level and make your Church Connect look really professional, just use the image option to delineate what the card is for. Like create an image to add to this card that explains the purpose of the card. I've actually done that already for this video, so I'm going to select the upload or select a card image option, and then I'm going to drag and drop this image I created for this About Us card. There we go. So the card image says About Us, and it says click here to learn more. So the image itself explains what the card is for, or at least it helps people understand what to expect when they click or tap on it. So that's done. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the Return to Card Setup page. There I'll see the card preview, and below that there are several buttons that I can click through to further customize this card. First, there's Setup and Visibility. Setup is where I can go to the Page Setup page where I can customize what's on this page card, like the actual content that's in that page of the website and app. Edit Cards for this page allows me to add cards to this page. So when someone clicks or taps on the About Us card, it'll take them to another page where they can learn about the church, but I can also have cards at the very bottom of that page that navigate to more content and information. I can customize and control all of that just by selecting the Edit Cards for this page button, and now the Cards on the Main Page banner at the top changes to Cards on the About Us page, where I can add more cards to this page. It's the exact same process as adding cards to the main page. But I can also return to the main page just by selecting that Return to Main Page option there. And I can go back into that card to make further edits. Just FYI, just a little information about adding cards to a page. You can only go one level deep. In other words, you can't add a page card, add cards to that page, including a page card that has cards of its own. You can't go any further than that. You can add cards to the main page, and then you can add cards to other page cards, and that's it in Church Connect. But there's also, below the Edit Cards for this page option, there's the ability to access the QR code and the URL for this card. Just makes it easy to share this directly with your people. You can also customize the page name if you ever need to change that. And then under Visibility, this is where I can choose whether or not this card appears on both the website and the app, or only the website, or only the Church Connect app itself, like the native app that people download on their phone. And then from there, you can also choose whether or not this card displays for everybody, or only when a member is logged into Church Connect and their profile there, or only when someone is not logged in. But when you choose the Show Only When Member is Logged In option, you get this really cool ability to select a group and apply that group to this card. What this does is it allows you to limit who at your church is able to view this card. This means if I select the Select Groups button and I scroll down and choose, let's say this Sunday School list of groups, this means that only the people that have at least one of these group labels on their profile on the People screen will be able to view this card whenever they log into their account in Church Connect. So you can create cards that, or basically you can customize the experience in Church Connect, whether it be on the website, the app, or both, and tailor it to the experiences of the members at your church so that they really only see the exact content that's most relevant to them and not anything else in Church Connect. So it's not a cluttered experience for them. You just need to go to the People and Family screen, go to the Groups page, and create your own custom list of groups and assign those group labels to the people on the People screen so that you can leverage this feature in Church Connect. But once I'm done with all of that, I can go back to the card setup screen. I can go back to setup, and I want to show you the page setup screen itself for a page card. Here, I can customize a lot about this page. This is where I'm actually going to add the content of the page itself. Now, one thing you can do that I like pointing out is if you select the Settings cogwheel in the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can customize the custom path, like the actual end of the URL for this card, and then also the page title and page description. These three things will help boost your church website's SEO, search engine optimization. So it makes it more likely that it'll appear higher in a Google search for people in your area. But furthermore, the page itself, I can add a hero section just by selecting the Add a Hero/Header section button. And this isn't locked in. You can fully customize this hero section. This is just a template. I can select the text and edit this. And if you don't like the format of the initial template here, you can select the Add a Content button in the toolbar above, and then select the Use a Template option, and choose from one of our professionally designed templates that allow you to make your church website and app just look really, really nice. There's other customizations here, like the height of the hero section. You can make it look bigger or smaller. You can change the background to have like an image of your people or some other thing added behind the text. You're in full control here. And you can do the exact same thing for the body sections of the page that you're creating. There's a template that's injected. You can add another template. One thing to keep in mind though, as you're building your pages and you're adding sections and text and other content, is there's these toggle switches to publish to the web and publish to the app. Just make sure that when you're done customizing that section, or maybe you wait until you're done with the entire page, make sure you toggle those switches to the on position, because none of this will appear for anyone accessing Church Connect until you do so. We make this so that no one will stumble upon your site or your app in the middle of you making changes and customizations. This allows you to finish everything, tweak it, make it exactly what you need to be, and then put it out to the public. Just don't forget. I'm hammering this because I have forgotten and I work here. So if I've forgotten, you may forget too. I don't want you to make that mistake. Just make sure that you toggle that to the on position whenever you're done. Oh, and one more thing, something that a lot of you I think are going to be interested in, especially if you want like more customization and more control over your Church Connect. There is this keyboard icon above that section in the toolbar above. If you select that, it does give you access to the code view. So if you know HTML code, you have more control over the form, the layout, and the content in Church Connect. You can even like embed videos and other things into your pages in Church Connect. I just want to make some of you aware. I know some of you are going to be really excited about that ability. So that's how you access that. All right, so that's how to add a page card in Church Connect. Next, I'm going to go back to the cards page, and this time I'm going to add a giving card. I want to show this off to you simply because this is really easy to put together. Not every card you add will require the level of customization that I showed you with the page card. So for the giving card, I'm going to go ahead and give this a name because that's really important. Make sure you do that for all of your cards. And the next thing I have to do is add the card design. I'll select the upload or select a card image button again. I already have an image created, so I'll just drag and drop that in here. Select close this little prompt here because I don't need to do that right now. And I'm done with this card. That's it. That's all I had to do to add a giving card. That's because on the giving and pledges screen of your ChurchTrac account, that's where you set up the online giving portal. So as long as you've done that, you just have to select the add a card button, choose the giving card, and then upload an image, and you're done. There's no other customizations that you need to worry about. One thing I recommend you do though, is you go to the visibility tab for this card and make it app only. The reason I recommend this is because the website is only for the general public. Your members aren't going to use the website as much as they'll use the app. And the general public is not going to make a donation to your church. Let's just be very honest about that. But your members will. Your donors are more likely to make a donation to your church, and they're more likely to use the app over the website. So have it appear only in the app. That way it's only appearing for the people it's most relevant to. But that's it. I'm done adding the giving card. I can select the close button and move on to the next one. And this next one is going to be a form card. I want to show you a form card simply because there's lots of customization just like there is with a page card. So I want to make sure that you are well acquainted with this particular kind of card. Now before I add this card, I need to give it a name, but I'm not going to do that for now because I want to show you why it's important to name your cards. So I'll skip that step and select add this card, and I'm going to blaze ahead. I'll edit the card design, upload or select a card image, drag and drop this. I'm going to add a prayer request card, and that's the image that I've created here. So I'll show you what it takes to add a form to gather prayer requests in Church Connect. So I'm done adding the image. I can return to card setup. And here, there's a little difference with a form card. There is a setup option, a visibility tab, and a form tab. This is where you can select which user in ChurchTrac receives an email notification whenever somebody fills out this form card. That way, the person who needs to be in charge of whatever this form is about can stay on top of it in real time. But you can also limit how many people fill out this form. Obviously, a prayer request form, you want as many people to fill it out as possible. But if there's ever some limitation you need to impose on any given form in Church Connect, you can do that here. Also, you can embed the form. If you're not using Church Connect as your main website, you can embed this form on your church's main website. The setup and the visibility option is exactly the same. Setup is a little different because instead of having the ability to add cards to the page, you can just edit the form questions. The only thing you can add extra cards to in Church Connect is another page card. So in this case, I'm going to edit the form questions really quickly. We give you the ability to just inject the name and email field directly into the form very quickly, but I'm going to select the Add a Question button. I'm not going to go through all of these form fields and illustrate them in this video. We have an article in our user guide that goes into greater detail on each of these options, so definitely check that out if you want to learn more. But I am going to quickly throw together a prayer request form just so that you see what that process looks like. So I already have fields for the name and the email address. I also want the phone number. So I'll select that. It's going to be a short text field just because I want them to just quickly type that in. And then I'll select Add a Question again. And this time I'm going to ask, what can we pray for? This time, though, I'm going to make that a paragraph field so that they have lots of room to type their answer. And then last but not least, this is a really important question to ask, at least in today's day and age. Do we have your permission to share your request with the prayer team? Just got to get their consent. I'll make it a drop-down list, add this field, and I'm going to add a yes option and a no option, and that is it. Close. Obviously, you can add other fields, other questions, other things to the form for your church, but I'm just throwing this together as a quick illustration. So now that I've got the form questions done, I can also go to the page setup and further customize the page that this form lives on in Church Connect. So if I scroll down, there's the form. The form fields will appear at the bottom below all of the rest of the content that I'm adding. But in this form page, I can also create a hero and header section just like I did on the page card. And I can add other body sections here. If I ever just need to add more to this form, maybe give a little more information so that anybody that goes to that form can read a little bit more. Whatever I need to do, I can do that here, just like I did with the page card. But here, I want to illustrate why it's important to name cards as you add them in Church Connect. To the left of the URL at the top of this page, there's a drop-down menu. And this is really handy because it allows me to jump to any other page I have in Church Connect to quickly make some edits or changes to whatever I'm doing here. But you'll notice here that for the form card we added, the name of that card is gibberish. It says form underscore and then just some random series of letters and numbers. That's why it's important to name your cards, because in this drop-down menu, you have the ability to quickly jump to a card to make further customizations to that page. But in the future, I'm not going to have any idea what that means or what that's for. It's obvious right now because we've only added a few cards and we've only added one form card. So I know exactly what that is now. But if I add more cards and I don't name them, I'm going to have a list of just total gibberish that won't make any sense to me. So make sure you name your cards. If you forget to do so in real time, don't sweat it. Just go to the cards page, select the card that you need to update, and then give it a name really quickly here. So I can call this prayer requests, and I'm done. I just fixed the problem. Now, before I wrap this up, one thing I want to recommend to you is that you create an account with a platform called Canva. I recommend Canva personally. I used Canva to create the images for the cards that I've shown you today. Canva is a great platform that allows you to build really great visual media for your church, whether it be images for Church Connect cards, videos and announcements, social media posts, everything. The reason I personally recommend Canva to you is because Canva gives their paid subscription to nonprofits for free. So your church can have an account with Canva and have access to the full suite of tools that they offer without paying a penny. So definitely check that out. That's how to create and edit cards in Church Connect. If you have any questions, send us a support ticket or visit churchtrac.com/support. See you in the next video.